Welcome to the Acid Test, a weekly chat about this and that. That's the new opener, by the way.
Yeah, we're back.
This and that. How we going, Luke?
Yeah, good. How's everyone going out there?
Good to hear. Just waiting for
We're live.
Yeah.
Brett, how you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Sean?
Excellent. I cannot wait to tell you this story that I found. Yeah.
I mean, don't stop. Go.
But I can wait if we have to. I can wait, but I'd rather not.
No, just lay it on us.
All right.
Dive head first.
Well, get the breaking news music going.
Yeah,
Yeah,
cool
whatever.
or not cool.
No, okay,
Remix.
We have another bit of breaking news in regards to one of our favorite topics, flat earthers. That's right.
Luke's favorite topic.
What's happened now in the flat earth world? Italian flat earthers claim round earth laws don't apply to them.
I mean, obviously.
This has made the news. You've probably seen signs on public transportation that read children under 6 ride free, or senior citizens ride free, or even veterans ride free. Have you ever read one? Have you ever seen one that reads flat earthers ride free?
No.
And we've got
Sorry,
that wasn't a question. It was me trying to take this all in. So we've got a quote. I don't know. Just jump straight to a quote from one of the guys. The Earth is flat. We are terrapiattisti. I guess plate earthers. The Earth is like a plate.
Flat.
Platers.
Yeah.
Platists.
Why
I
is
don't
it
know.
in Italian?
Because this was in Italy.
Oh, right.
So ambassadors out of every planetary...
It's like the first line.
So the quote is, the Earth is flat. We are terrapiattisti ambassadors out of every planetary jurisdiction, and therefore we don't pay for the train ticket. You've got to hand it to flat earthers. They would never give up. So then it goes on about the Antarctica thing. We'll skip past that. That's old news. We've already established that.
Fake news.
An attack on Free State pursued by the International Criminal Court. Okay, so...
This is where it begins. This is where flat earthers start rising up in
rising
anarchy.
A precedent has to be set.
No,
Fuck off.
it
Yeah.
won't, because they just never will admit defeat.
they believe that demanding a ticket is an attack on their free state and their right to freely circulate around the world, and that this will hold up in
Around the
international
world?
criminal court. They're taking it to court.
Do you see that around the world?
Yes, yes. Well, actually,
Myth busted. Yeah.
freely circulate was the quote. Around the world was by the news article. So, needless to say, the conductor was not pleased, nor were the other passengers when the flat earthers held up the train for nearly an hour until the Carabinieri arrived. That's the Italian police.
Yeah.
They hauled the flat earthers off the train and charged them with interrupting a public service and refusing to provide general information.
I hell imagine these guys just like going to court over this, and the judge just being like, "Dude, pay the fucking ticket."
No, you're wrong.
Yeah. So,
But like, they could then say any law doesn't apply to them.
yeah, that's basically what
Yeah.
they're saying. Like round Earth laws,
I don't think-
planetary laws don't apply
I don't
to
have
them.
to pay taxes because, I'm a flat earther.
Yeah, that's literally where they're coming
That's a
from.
good tax break.
Well, it's not going to work. They got arrested. So
This is like where the world ends, because they're not.
world ends.
Yes, because
All
then
right, guys, it's GG. Thanks for playing.
Yeah, if you just like say that you're a flat earther, then you get away with everything.
oh no, you don't.
Yeah, you
don't.
don't.
You get arrested,
You don't.
apparently.
Because are they gonna? I reckon they'll be successful in
They
court
won't
with
be
that.
successful in criminal court. They would not be successful.
No, all right, but the proof there, right, is just like they'll get the proof. They'll get the proof,
They
right?
successfully get a judge and judges up there and they're like, the earth is flat, right? And he's like, oh, fuck, you've got me there.
It won't even make it. It won't make it to court. No lawyer will take the case
Okay.
unless they're like, oh, this is easy money, and then they maybe will. Like,
But what I imagined in my head
pro
was
bono.
that
yeah.
what I imagined in my head was that they'll like the defendant, whoever that will be, will like pose all the evidence for their being around Earth, and they'll be like, you can't depend on that.
Can't prove
Evidence.
otherwise, but you can.
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not going to be like Scientology where they just like legally beat the shit out of like a whole system until they get what they want.
But then they can just say like, oh, but have you seen it with your own eyes?
Oh my god, that
I've seen the
age-old
curvature
argument.
of the earth on a
Yeah.
plane, yeah.
But I just don't get like this whole flat Earth thing. It's just like we literally have taken photos of black holes now.
Yeah.
Like we have that technology. We've
Sean, what you do on the weekend is between you and the weekend.
Mate.
so.
What you
not
do
the
with these
first ever.
cameras on the weekend,
well,
none of our business.
you were here on the weekend, Brady.
I didn't see what's going on in this room.
And this is why I hate the internet as well, because it's because of the internet that we have these stupid flat earthers bloody doing all this stupid God damn.
Get off my lawn.
You sound about 20 years older right now,
Right?
Luke.
Yeah.
Back in your day.
This is what that flat earthers are doing to me right now. That's literally because of the internet. Because they all just get together on the internet and they just bounce off each other's ideas. They're all in that one place. So now they get to conglomerate there and
Plus,
their
like,
stuff.
they post one shit comment on a thread, everybody thumbs it up, but then becomes the top comment on that thread, and then it just keeps,
I feel like these groups are becoming more and more like self-empowered. Like you had vegans literally closing down the city of Melbourne earlier this week. It's just like, come on, vegans. Like,
And it's not doing them any good.
It's doing them harm.
Yeah,
they're harming
they're ruining
themselves.
their PR.
bunch of lazy souls sitting on the road holding up everyone. Like, literally, they showed footage of it. It's just all these hippies just like sitting in circles.
So many good memes came out afterwards, though.
Oh,
like
man.
they had to leave at like 4 o'clock because they had a nap because of the iron deficiency.
One of my favorite ones is there's this picture of like a group of them like protesting in one of the buildings, and then there's one guy in the corner and he's got a sign that just says "I love sausage rolls,"
I'm with that guy.
and he's like hidden and he's just kind of written it on a piece of paper in the street, and there's all these like cow conspiracy signs, and this one bloke's just smiling with "I love sausage rolls."
don't we all?
I mean,
Don't we
yeah.
all?
Not the vegans.
Yeah, well, yeah.
No, we don't.
I've never had a good vegan sausage roll, that's for sure.
I don't want to know if that's a thing.
I guess I'll talk about my topic now. So I was looking into video game addiction this week because I've sort of found myself playing a lot of Super Smash Bros. I think I mentioned that on the.
This is the first time you've ever mentioned Smash Bros.
Yeah.
Right,
I
Luke?
had no idea.
The first episode back of season 2, I sort of just said, "Yeah, look, I didn't do anything over the summer. I just played Super Smash Bros."
Still?
The thing is, I'm just really good at it, and everyone's bad, and I like wrecking
You
everyone.
know the old quote, if you're good at something, never do it for free.
Okay.
How are you going to get paid playing Smash Bros?
Oh,
You do it. I believe in you.
I don't know. The enjoyment of wrecking people is enough payment.
That's currency in
yeah,
itself.
exactly.
It's like emotional currency.
Yeah. And it has distracted me as of late. I've got a lot of assignments due for uni at the moment, and I just tell myself, all right, I'll just play like half an hour worth of Super Smash Bros. But why do I even need that little fix of Super Smash Bros. Then? I don't even know. It's such a good rush when you just play for even like 5 minutes and you just want to keep playing more because it's just so much fun, and the colors and the movements and the
The worst
cool
thing,
celebrations.
worst thing with that is like you're like, oh, I'll play one more game, and either way you're fucked, right?
Yeah.
Because if you play one really good game, you're like, well, I'm just going to keep the streak going.
Yeah. Oh.
But then if you go, well, I'll play till I lose.
Yeah.
Then the last game you lose, and then you're just pissed off. You're like,
Yeah.
well, I'm not doing anything now.
Yeah. It's
Not
almost
finishing on that note.
Yeah.
yeah. It's almost like you're not really satisfied. Like you'll win and you'll be like, I did everything properly. I'm glad I won that. Or
Signing off.
extremely pissed off. Like, what the fuck are you doing? I should have shot him when I could have.
Mr. Bean's on the podcast.
Took our job again.
And this isn't the first game that has ever done that to me. I also mentioned last week how I wanted my PlayStation 3 back because I had a really good FIFA 12 run. Which
Oh,
was the
FIFA
best
12.
Great FIFA. And same thing, I found myself playing that so much. The Ultimate Team mode on there where you buy and trade players and stuff was so addicting. And I look back on that part of my life and I'm just like, why did I do that? What was the gain I was getting in my life from playing that game so much? I have no idea. And it's-
Enjoyment, man. Sometimes things just need to be enjoyed.
But I didn't think you just think in the long term about these things,
Yeah.
and you just don't see it while you're in that sort of mode when you're just like vegging out. And sometimes you can spend a whole Sunday or something just playing video games when you could have done something else with your life.
I think we've all been there. Have you looked into the psychology of this?
Not quite.
Because I'd say I'd say there's probably a pretty simple psychological explanation.
Oh, well, I'm sure it's just the rush of endorphins
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you get and it's the escape from reality as well.
And the old like reward system. You play well, it feels good.
Yeah.
Keep playing.
Yeah,
keeps
exactly.
feeling good.
Who's to
It
say
releases
if you-
more endorphins, yeah.
If you
Yeah.
were doing something that was more, let's say beneficial or whatever, who's to say that's more enjoyable? Like just because you're getting something out of it that's, society deems as more appropriate or whatever of your time.
Yeah.
You're still going to die at the end of the day. You want to get to the end of your life. You're like, I enjoyed my life.
I guess, but I think it's more just the fact that like I don't like wasting my time too much, and I just
How
like
was your
making
summer?
good. Yeah, I know. And I look back on that summer and just think, God, but it was so hot over the summer. So who would want to do anything really? What were you going to say, Brett? I cut you
Well,
off.
no, you're all good. I was just going to say, I think it's only looked down on negatively because it's, you're sitting on a couch or in a beanbag looking at a TV. But yeah, like Brady said, if you exchange it for like, exercise
book
or
or
reading a
yeah.
book, going to the beach, it's still you're putting a lot of time into something that you enjoy.
I guess you're still using your brain, whereas video
Yeah.
games you can sort of just switch off. Same as like watching TV shows on Netflix, I guess.
Yeah, but like,
Books are the old version of switching off, I guess. But I mean, you learn.
You still
a
have
bit
to
more.
you still have to concentrate for video games.
I don't know, man.
as well.
I've read books and not understood a fucking word. I've
Yeah,
got to the
'cause
end of
you
it and be
just-
like, what?
yeah, ever read The Great Gatsby? It's like American classic book sucks.
It wasn't that bad.
It
I thought
sucks.
I thought it was better than the movie.
It's just like some white rich dude pining over girls he's not going to get with.
It was still an interesting read.
Yeah.
But I think maybe it's just the social stigma of video games. Like you feel like you're not doing
Yeah.
anything productive. You're not out
Contributing
in the
to
sun.
the world.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you reckon that'll change, or that is changing with, professional gamers who are like,
Oh, man, they're like
really
celebrities.
famous
Probably,
and-
yeah.
Celebrities.
and they're
I mean,
getting paid.
I mean, I play like, I don't know, probably as many video games as you do, Luke. And like, I don't know, I find it just like relaxate. It's just a way to switch off after work or on the weekend when you've got some free time. I think
Yeah.
it's just being able to put a handle on, not writing off an entire day or like half a day,
Yeah.
which is easy to do.
But I mean, what's to stop you from furthering that addiction? Well, you're not really addicted.
Yeah, I know what
but,
you mean.
Like, if you can spend all that time playing and stuff, what's to say you could spend a whole week playing and not even like go to work or anything like that?
Oh, true. Oh, yeah,
But I mean, and there's people like that out there that do that forego all their friends and family and financial state just to play video games. It's crazy. And like how I was saying with how I'm now at Super Smash Bros. And when I was like, about like 5 years ago, we were playing FIFA 12. Oh, no, that's not 5 years ago.
Probably like 7 or 8.
Yeah.
No.
Quick math.
And like 10 years ago when I used to play Guitar Hero, like,
What a game, though.
it was a great game. But if I spent the amount of time I did playing Guitar Hero than I did actually playing guitar, I'd probably be like 10 times greater than I am
Yeah,
right
but
now.
what's
at
more
guitar.
fun?
Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
Is so
yeah, and look, honestly, anyone listening, if you ever get like a couple hours and you want to come watch Luke play Guitar Hero, it is truly a sight to
It's
behold.
quite a watch.
Did you ever play, was it Rock Band?
Rock Band. No, I never played that
Or
one.
like Guitar Hero that had the drums?
Oh yeah, I had the drums.
How
yeah.
fun were the drums?
Yeah, it was great. But there's
Yeah. Remember we used to do La Bamba?
yeah, like Rebel Yell by
Yeah.
what's his name?
La
Billy
Bamba.
Idol.
Billy Idol. Yeah.
Say Billy Crystal.
Yeah. No, that was a lot of fun. But that was fun because that was like a group activity,
Yeah.
and playing games with friends, that's not really an addiction. That's just, having fun with your friends. But
Is it? What if you all get on at the
Yeah.
same time, then all get off at the same time?
Yeah.
Because
Wow.
I mean, like,
Yeah,
like
World of
last
Warcraft.
night, I texted T and be like, well, he texted me, was like, want to play Fortnite? And I was just like, jumping on right now. And, I could get on and like the same, two other guys that we pretty much play with like most days or most nights, whatever.
yeah.
They're already on waiting, ready to go. We
Yeah.
pretty much played at the same time or around the same schedule.
What's
so.
annoying is like playing and then about to get off and then someone jumps on. And you're like,
soul destroying.
it's like, all right, go on. I'll keep playing then.
Yeah.
But I think there's a little difference between playing physically with friends and online with friends. I just think there's a slight difference,
Yeah.
Oh, no.
and it's
Yeah.
it's a lot more social when you're playing with people in the same room rather than online.
And the addiction part would be like you're playing with your mates 2 or 3 hours, whatever. They all get off, and you stay on for like the next 8 hours.
Yeah.
that's
put in a real
that's
solo
where the
session.
addiction is.
Especially
Yeah.
when your mates are better than you and you want to get to their level and you
Oh,
just
man.
You don't know that,
You
Phil.
grind?
You clearly
Oh,
don't know what that's like.
I definitely know what that's like. I'm getting a shout on regularly, and all my friends are fucking pros.
8 hours later, gotta go to work in 15 minutes. Fuck it.
So I've just got like a couple of stats here. They're mostly American based, but just like some things that I just found pretty interesting about video game addiction. Around 18 hours a week are spent playing video games by an average gamer.
by the average gamer or the average person.
By the average person.
That's
Well-
a lot of hours.
Yeah. But I mean, average people would be average gamers. I
Well,
just-
like-
No.
let's say-
No.
So what? 18 hours, you said?
yeah, 18 hours a
So
week.
I play 0 hours a
Yeah.
week. That's balanced out by someone that plays like
50.
Yeah, 100 hours a week.
yeah.
Yeah.
The average person, if that's average person, that's pretty high then, yeah.
What do you reckon you play, Luke, a week? I'm just trying to think of
Is that
myself.
on semester or
Like-
off semester?
12 hours a week. Off semester.
You reckon?
Completely
You reckon
different.
actually 12?
I reckon, yeah. I mean,
Did you play Smash yesterday?
did it
Yeah,
for
go
a
on.
little bit. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just a couple of games.
How long you play for?
Like half an hour,
That's not an addiction.
Yeah, it's not an addiction, but I'm doing it every day.
I mean, T,
Not an
how long do you
addiction.
reckon we played Fortnite for last night?
Uh,
An hour and a half? 2 hours?
yeah, last night was about an hour. The night before was probably about 2.5.
Yeah.
It's pretty long, that one.
Yeah, like, yeah.
good.
So,
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm like really addicted or anything like that. It's just the fact that
The cigarettes all over again.
Yeah, it is.
You quit by 35.
Yeah, like you play video games till 35 and
Yeah,
that's it.
that's
You
it.
just you throw your consoles away.
yeah, all right, please.
But it's like it's you might be playing for an hour or two a night, but if you weren't playing games, you'd be watching Netflix for an hour or two a night.
Yeah.
Like
Who's to say what's a
What's
waste
bad?
of time and what's not?
yeah.
4% of the US gamers are extreme gamers, and this is Sean what you were talking about, and because they play around 50 hours a week, so they're your complete opposites.
4%. There's like 60 million people in the US.
4% of gamers, it said. So
Yeah, but that's such a
No, so
weird.
US gamers.
Oh,
yeah, US gamers.
Yeah, but you
that's
think
such a
all the
weird
that's still a lot.
statistic.
you think all the people who like stream on Twitch, right? You know, like what we would spend time at work, that's their work. So, you know, you go to work for 40, 50 hours a week. They're just doing that.
Yeah.
Their work is just playing video games.
I take issue with the validity of these statistics, Luke.
Why's
Where'd you get these statistics from? What's the source?
I don't have the source on me.
US
I can tell you.
averagegamers.com.
I can tell you after
Reddit.
the podcast.
Well, no, it's just because like it says like the percentage of gamers. Does that mean everyone who plays 0 hours a week, or is it everyone that plays no games was not included? Only people that
How do
play
you test
games.
that?
Yeah, it's just gamers, people that classify. I don't know.
Okay.
The category is getting broader and broader with like mobile gaming and things like that.
Yeah,
Farmville
exactly.
has been considered in the past as like you're a gamer if you play that, but you need to see this specific.
Yeah, we need to see
paper.
what the sample.
Man, that's a throwback as well to
Yeah.
Farmville. Fuck, I forgot that game existed.
That's
Command
when it
and
really
Conquer.
started coming in, like online games,
Temple
Facebook
Run? Yeah.
games. Yeah.
Well, building on the invalidity of this data, 48 Empire State buildings could be built by extreme gamers if they chose to build skyscrapers instead of playing video games.
Wow.
They might not have the skills.
They definitely.
They've probably played Minecraft, so they probably do it.
yeah, some of them would.
Or
Yeah.
Fortnite. They know how to build scaffolding.
Yeah. I mean, I can do floor, stair, wall. You know?
Now, 40% of World of Warcraft players are addicted to the game.
That doesn't surprise
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
When did WoW come out?
Like 2005.
Yeah, a long time.
4 or 5.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's still fairly active,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Oh, yeah. And MMO.
We speaking from experience.
Yeah.
That was a little bit too addictive.
And MMOs, what's that? Made something
Massive multiplayer online.
online.
You went there straight away. Yeah.
They're one of the most addictive game types.
Yeah,
out
Dota.
there. Yeah. Now, these next three stats are like really deep. So
Okay.
How deep?
pretty deep. A Korean man died after a 50-hour StarCraft marathon. 50 hours,
He died.
2 days,
Well, from not eating or from what? Just died.
cardiac arrest.
I hell imagine it's him having one of those beer can hats with just like fluids coming in.
A Monster energy drink just
Yeah.
coming out.
Red Bull in the other one. Yeah. Black coffee.
A Philadelphia man killed his 17-month-old daughter for breaking his Xbox.
What?
Wow.
Jesus.
And an Ohio teen shot his parents after they took his copy of Halo 3.
I mean, what a game though. To be fair,
It's a great game. Yeah.
Mate, I mean, I don't want to preempt my my topic, but you're victim blaming.
I am not advocating it killing your parents, but what a game.
No, Brady's like when you're in a good lobby, you know, do what it takes.
When you get your squad together, it's so rare, you
Everything's
know?
perfect. You got your clan tag.
I am a big Halo fan.
So these stats just make me be like, what the hell, man? There's people that addicted that they're willing to kill and shoot people and play until they can't no more. I just think I would love to meet people like this.
Yeah,
and
but
just
I look at that and
ask them.
I look at their people who are, for lack of a better word, fucked up as it is. And if they weren't going to like crack from video games, they would have cracked from something else that's just like in them as a person. If you're going to kill your parents, that's not something that just a game caused you to do. That's something that like you
could
can't
have-
deal with stresses and things like
You
that.
might have like mental health issues.
Yeah, but then
Yeah.
mine could have been conditioned from all the things like, and again, I don't want to blame the victims here.
Wow.
No, but like I'm just saying, like the rush of endorphins or whatever could have trained their minds or whatever, and then when that gets taken away, they just snap.
It's like a heroin addict or something.
Yeah,
and then just, like,
basically.
taking the syringe away from them.
Exactly. So yeah, I think you would have to classify it as a mental illness rather than someone that was just born that way. Maybe I don't know. Like
Yeah.
That's true. That's a good point.
I was also going to mention the in-app purchases that can be made on mobile gaming, and especially was mentioned before with Farmville. What? And
So it was like the first big one to come.
yeah, no, I don't know. I just
No, it's just a throwback.
Yeah.
Like I sort of
there's
forgot
Farmville
the
2
game.
now.
Is there?
There's a Farmville too.
Oh.
But also like Candy Crush. Like, did you guys get into Candy Crush
yeah,
when it
man.
came out?
I didn't.
That was
but
addictive, yeah.
My mum once was like, sent me a message on Facebook. I hadn't heard from her in a couple of weeks, and she's just like, "Oh, Brett, like, can you send me, I don't know, whatever the in-game thing is. I don't know what it's called." She's like, "Yeah, can you send me stuff so I can, get add-ons on Candy
Yeah,
Crush?" I'm just like, "No."
Yeah.
Also, how are you?
It's your son, Brett.
And I just feel like that's a whole different issue in itself, but sort of still relates to the thrill you get from gaming addiction. But yeah, just to finish off, Sean, why don't you play any video games?
I don't know. I used to play video games a lot. When
Yeah.
I was 16, 17 sort of thing, I wouldn't leave the house on the weekend. Yeah, I would just play video games all the time, nonstop, constantly.
Like what?
Anything. So it could be FIFA. Football Manager was
Oh,
a
Football
big
Manager.
one.
Didn't you play Euro Truck Simulator as well?
Yeah, but that wasn't
What?
yeah. That was pretty good.
Have you ever seen Goat Simulator? Have you seen that game?
No, I imagine it's like Euro Truck Simulator though.
Probably.
I like that it's specific to Europe as well. European trucks.
You have like a warehouse and you buy a truck and you got to transport goods from like one warehouse to another in Europe. So you'd be like,
That sounds so boring.
You might start off in Manchester and you have to make a delivery to like Milan, and then you got to drive to Milan, and then someone in Vienna needs to get something delivered to I don't even know
Make a pit stop.
Berlin. Yeah, you have to have pit stops to sleep because like you're gonna run out of energy.
I mean, you don't want to do a 50-hour stretch.
I literally
I was just saying, who plays this? You play this.
yeah.
So you've gone from Euro Truck Simulator to playing no games at all.
No,
I'd rather play no games at all.
no. Euro Truck Simulator made me go to Salzburg. It made me want to go to Salzburg.
actually
So
pretty
yeah,
Kinda cool.
It's a hell of a way to go cold turkey.
Yeah, mate. So but I don't
Hire
know.
a truck.
I don't know why I stopped playing games. I sort of just got over it. I guess maybe grew out of it.
I mean, you went from driving trucks to becoming a truck.
That's the chassis again.
Yeah. I don't know. So we played Football Manager together a lot, Brady
Yeah.
and Mike as well. That was good. But then the games that I was super addicted to, like Diablo 2, Warcraft 3, like those communities died out. And so I guess
But that was more about the community with the game.
not really. No, I would play on my own. It's just that those games became outdated.
True.
I mean, would you guys consider like what we do as Dream Team as a bit of a game? Really?
Yeah, our fantasy football league.
Yeah, like that's.
yeah.
It's got, I think, aspects of gaming.
Yeah, I agree. I think you could
It's
say
sort of like
Gambling and
yeah, gambling. Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably more gambling than it is gaming. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, as you guys can hear, I'm just like, I don't know, it's just a bit frustrating.
it's playing on your mind.
Yeah,
some
like
cognitive dissonance.
Am I really addicted to gaming, or am I just wanting some downtime?
I think you're just walking a fine line between over gaming, we'll say it, not addiction. I think over gaming and then finding that sort of like nice little
Yeah.
spot for like relaxation.
I don't think you're addicted at all.
Yeah.
Like it's Thursday night. You're here
enabling
right now.
him, Sean.
Well, no, it's just like you got nothing to do. Like you've had dinner or whatever. What do you do before bed? Could watch Netflix. Could play some Smash. It's a Saturday. Could watch the football.
Yeah.
Could play some Smash. Like if you'd prefer to play Super Smash Bros. Over watch football, like no one's gonna have a go at you. You've never like said no to going out to play games. I think that's when you'd start having a problem.
Yeah.
You get that dual screen, so you can watch the football and play.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, that's a dream, right?
Have the dream team scores.
That's
on the
just where you
search
have
frame.
all the senses firing.
peak
Anyways,
performance.
let's move on. Believe Sean.
All right, I'm not even going to try segue
Yeah,
from,
don't.
Yeah,
from that.
I feel like this is not a segue kind of friendly.
Well, this is something that's really been playing on me for a while. So I will start with something that was shared today. Okay, so there was a news article. The news article was 2 men who raped their friend in caravan jailed. All right, fair enough. 2 rapists went to jail. But the first comment on the Facebook page was, what was she doing hanging around with 2 blokes in a caravan? Was she so naive to think that all they wanted was friendship? It does not make sense. Victim blaming is something that we're seeing more and more, and it could be from sexual abuse like that. It could be racism's another big one. So the big example in the world recently was the Juventus player Moise Kean, who is a black player, scored a goal, celebrated in front of the opposition, and was racially abused. And then one of his own teammates came out and
captain.
said, that he was 50-50 to blame for the abuse.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, but
Zero to blame
You
for
are
that.
never to blame for being racially abused. You did not incite that. That was the decision of the people in the stands. They could have abused you in any way they wanted to. They specifically chose to racially abuse him.
Yeah.
Like, what is the world coming to when we're blaming
Is that
victims
also
for
a
these
cultural
things?
thing? Because
Probably.
I mean, you do see it in leagues across the world. A bit less in England, but you still see it in England. But
There's a lot more focus in England
like
now.
I go to football games here. I mean, as most of us do, I very rarely hear racial comments.
It's more contained in social media here.
Yeah, that's
So
probably
there's
true.
been quite a few cases of people, calling like the Aboriginal players monkeys.
Yeah.
In like on social media, on Instagram, and they're getting called out for it, and
Yeah.
that's the right thing to do.
That came out like most recently with the West Coast Eagles player getting a lot of stick online for no reason at all, and then people just commenting, saying all these like disgusting things.
Yeah.
And then a lot of the whole AFL code came out and sort of banded together, and I think people are kind of sick of it.
That was pretty cool though to see them like actually like shame them kind of online.
Yeah.
People doing it. And then obviously like the Eagles, because who was it from the Eagles that copped it?
Liam Ryan.
Was Liam Ryan? So like all obviously like the Eagles have quite like a big sort of like indigenous culture and like playing group and like even coaching group I think at the club as well, and have done for years. And they all like I think they did a bit of a commercial. Didn't they do like where all the indigenous players sort of like banded together? I don't know.
Oh, they did.
All the teams did. Both teams.
Was it both
Yeah.
teams?
And
Yeah.
then before or after that incident, but before the game, one of the coaches, who's an Aboriginal player or person, he came out and the whole team was like standing behind him, and they did this whole video about how saying shit like that is just not acceptable in a society like that, like a Western, any society really, East and West. I don't give a shit. Like it's not acceptable.
But it's because of that I feel like it is actually getting pushed out more, as in that behavior is being like they're.
You mean there's less and less of it?
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
Because Sean, you were just saying that like there's people doing it more.
What do you mean?
Well, like you were just saying because of that comment on that article that there's people that like people are still doing it, and it might be even more prevalent than it is because of online.
I think we're mixing,
Yeah.
maybe accidentally getting off into purely racism rather than victim blaming, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, my point is that social media is a way of it being more accessible.
Yeah.
I guess you can see people's ignorance, for example, more often. Another one that you see fairly often, and this is again, all these situations are coming to light more and more and more, and getting more attention. And gradually, as a society, we're seeing that victim blaming is wrong. But another one is with people with like mental issues. So if someone has anxiety and is out in public and has a panic attack and people don't know what's wrong, people will often tell the person to have a panic attack, stop, what are you doing? Stop that. Like go into the shops or wherever the hell they are and try force the person to come out of the state they're in, and then blame the person for being in that state in the first place when perhaps they can't control it.
It's lack of understanding, I
Yeah.
suppose.
Lack of
Ignorance.
education.
Yeah, the lack of education perhaps, yeah.
It's always ironic though when someone's having like a panic attack or an anxiety attack and someone tells them to calm down.
Yeah.
They don't realize that if they could calm down, they would be calming down right
Exactly.
I
now.
was just waiting for that. Oh, thanks, buddy. I got it.
Yeah, if you hadn't said that, I would have been here all day.
That's the worst thing you could say to someone in that situation.
Yeah, because they know they would love to be calm, but it's not feasible at that point in time.
Yeah, so I don't know if you want to discuss this a bit more before I go into a bit of why perhaps this happens.
go for it.
Yeah, I'd like to hear why.
So I've got a couple of case studies here, or a couple of experiments that were done, and this was taken from Psychology Today. So although some instances of victim blaming undoubtedly originate from ignorance, meanness, or a smug sense of superiority, there may be another even more significant cause. Specifically, psychologists believe that our tendency to blame the victim may originate paradoxically in a deep need to believe that the world is a good and just place. So
Wait, what?
yes, so it's sort of like pandering, thinking like, oh, this can't happen to me, like that's not normal. So they just say, oh, that's just a special case or whatever, and blame the victim. So
okay.
basically they say we're bombarded with things like a terrorist attack or people getting shot or people getting burgled and things like that. And it's not normal to feel like you feel like everything's okay in the world.
Yeah.
When in reality, these things are going on and on all the time.
Yeah.
You're saying it's like a specific case that this person is like, they brought it on themselves, but everything else that happens like this is, not a one-off or whatever.
Yeah, we just think it won't happen to
Yeah.
me. And so according to a psychologist, Ronnie Janoff-Bullman from the University of Massachusetts, she calls this the positive assumptive worldview. So we just assume that everything that goes on in the world is positive. And we just assume basically that everyone's good.
Well,
When
that's
really,
a huge...
well, that's the mindset that
Yeah.
we're designed to have.
yeah.
So, okay, according to pioneering research by psychologist Marvin Lerner, I need to maintain a belief in a just world may be at fault for our tendency to blame victims. So he went on and did an experiment, and what happened was there was a group of women watching someone getting shocked. So they were answering maths problems, and every time they got one wrong, they got shocked. And what the women didn't know, so the women that were watching thought they were going in next, when in reality, the people in the room were actors. So they were watching actors getting shocked. And so half of the women were asked, if they could, instead of replacing the shock when they got something wrong, rewarding the people with money when they got it right, the idea was to see how their perception of the person in the room would change. And essentially, the women that replaced the incorrect answers with correct answers with money thought that it was a positive thing, and the people who did not get the opportunity to replace it, so only saw the electric shocks, thought that it was the person's fault for not getting the answers right.
Really?
Yes. So, and essentially, they were doing victim blaming. Then this sort of study was replicated, and what they found was that people who demonstrate more empathy were less likely to blame the victim. So this ties back to what I said at the start with ignorance. So if you have more empathy, you're less likely to be ignorant towards, what's happened.
Yeah, you can put yourself in their shoes.
Exactly. So what they did in the replication study, they saw people getting shocked and they said, now imagine you're in there getting shocked. And suddenly the perception of the people getting shocked changed because they thought, hang on a sec, that could be me there getting hurt. And so no one was blaming the victim anymore.
See if they didn't think that from the get-go though.
Yeah,
but
not
you
everybody's
only
empathetic.
say that because you look at it from an empathetic point of view.
Yeah.
So not everyone looks at that. So there are some people who would listen to what Sean just read and think, oh, I can't see the issue with that.
Yeah.
But that's only because they've grown up with that ignorance and that viewpoint.
Wow.
So for us, this is totally fucked up because we can put ourselves in other people's shoes and have empathy and think, that's shedding light on a bad situation.
Yeah.
Whereas there's other people who would just look at that and go I can't really see the issue with that. They really shouldn't have been there. They should have known better. If they'd known the answer, they wouldn't have got shocked.
That could also, again, be a cultural thing. If you're, say, I don't know, in a real ghetto part of South America or whatever, and you see someone who's getting the shit beaten out of them, maybe from experience that only the people who are involved in drugs or involved in whatever are the people getting the shit beaten out of them. So they know okay, he was probably asking for it. So then they start assuming that with everybody, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's one of the classic cases that I didn't actually mention but is on my information sheet. Gang activity is one of the key victim blaming circumstances. So just because someone hangs around with dodgy people doesn't mean they deserve to get bashed. They're putting themselves in a situation where it's more likely to happen, but they're still a victim of it happening. It's not normal to get bashed. Maybe in those situations where violence is higher, it's more likely to happen, but it doesn't mean that, it's their fault for putting themselves there. They're allowed to put themselves in that situation.
That's true, because I would think about that, and I'm like, if these people, if somebody chooses to associate with these people who they know are violent, then they've made that conscious decision. You know what I mean? So that's how I was thinking. I'm like, so that's natively, I was thinking in that case, they are. I was victim blaming that person.
Yeah.
That's strange.
An equivalent situation is a very attractive lady walking down the street
yeah.
gets sexually abused. She's still a victim.
Yeah.
If she's wearing tight clothes, a short skirt, she's allowed to make a conscious choice to do that. It's her body. She can wear what she wants. She doesn't deserve to be sexually abused walking down the street.
Man, that was literally just yesterday. I was walking down Murray Street.
Wearing the best dress.
I looked
Your
so
best
hot.
heels, Luke.
Yeah. And yeah, there was like an attractive lady walking in front of me, and we walked past some construction workers, and they just
Oh, here we
ogled at
go.
her. And like, it was just so disgusting. And
I guarantee it was more than one person, right?
two.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
if that, I always see things like that, and if it's one person, you rarely see them do shit like that.
True. Yeah. And that's a whole like thing where it's the pack.
Yeah.
Like pack mentality.
Pack mentality. And one day I'll get the courage to say something because I really want to.
But then you don't know. You're putting yourself in a position where you could just get stabbed.
I know. But like that behavior can't continue.
Yeah.
It can't.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
people need to be called out on it.
Tough one, yeah.
Yeah.
But have you ever fronted anyone on anything? Doesn't have to be like something so like doesn't have to be like something like that where someone said something about another person walking past. Like it's kind of exhilarating.
I guess. When I was in Darwin on holiday, there was two blokes having a fight on the side of the street. And I mean, I didn't tell them to stop or anything, but one of the blokes' mates was trying to like calm him down and shit. And I guess I was a bit smashed at the time, but I just said, yeah, listen to your mate.
Oh man, all
Jeez,
over it.
that's
Words to live by.
yeah.
But like, no, but he was like hell amped up and shit. And I was just like, listen to your mate, man. He's right. He's
Yeah.
telling you the truth. And I think maybe sometimes that backup from someone you don't know is a bit verifying.
The thing is, you put yourself in a situation there where you could have gotten attacked, and then if you did get attacked by that, someone could have said, "Oh, look, you shouldn't have put yourself in that situation."
Yeah. Yeah.
And then that would be a classic case
Yeah.
of victim blaming, where you had every right to tell them to stop. You were trying to do the right thing there.
Yeah.
And that could so easily be turned around and perceived as you doing the wrong thing when you're actually doing the right thing.
Yeah, and that's the thing why people don't do that more often is because then they're put in a situation when like now it's their problem. Now they have to deal with this whole thing, which could have just easily be avoided by not saying anything. But then what is happening there? What is being changed about society? Can you really change society by just telling one or two people that you see on the side of the road doing something stupid to stop doing it?
If it's like
Yeah.
a conscious effort by everybody, but how do you know that everybody's gonna?
Well, I think you can. I think if you change one person, then they might change two people, and they might change. You
Yeah,
could
it's a
incrementally
win.
change
It's a
it.
ripple effect. I
Yeah.
think like
You'd hope so.
Yeah, like we'll say the optimist in me is just hoping that if I can say something to one, then it might educate them for the better.
I've got like a good-ish story, somewhat related. I spoke to someone and basically I spoke about how I like Europe and like traveling there and blah, blah, blah. And he was like, oh yeah, but Europe's fucked. And I was like, okay, in what way? He's like, oh, there's just too many people. And I was like, yeah, it's pretty like heavily populated, especially compared to Australia. It's very densely populated, but I'm like, it's been like that for a long time. And he's like, oh, no, I mean like, all the Muslims that are going there now. And I was just like, and like, I just like immediately, I just went like trigger went off, man. I'm just like, oh, for fuck's sake. Like now I have to look at you in this way because you're a racist. And he's like, but he started it by saying, I don't want to sound racist, but so he's
Whenever anyone starts that sentence, it's like whatever
full
they've
stop.
just said.
That preface.
yeah, just stop.
That's
don't
what's
speak.
coming.
Yeah.
Like,
They're just trying to make excuses.
If you want to say, I'm not a racist, but just don't continue talking because you fucking are.
you might as well just start with a sentence with like, "Here's my one racist thought for today," and then just say what you're going to say anyway.
But like in that situation, I was speaking to him, and like I don't generally, because he's quite an older guy. I have the belief that these kinds of like victim blaming and racism and all these kinds of things, I hope are an older generational thing that will disappear when we get older. I hope, but it's hard to tell. Just upbringing, things like that. So I said to him, I was like, look, these people aren't moving for fun. A lot of the people who are going to Europe are like misplaced from war and like famine and like they're not choosing to be there. They're just fleeing to the nearest safe place.
But then there's places in Italy, like in Europe, like Italy, where that's just part of their culture. Like it's a cultural thing.
Yeah.
So how are you meant to get rid of a whole action of a whole culture?
Yeah, it's tough because like I was telling him in the Netherlands they have like quite a lot of they had a big immigration from like Morocco in the 80s and 70s. So they've got like a lot of people who are Muslim already, and that's part of their society. They're used to it. So they see people coming over who need help, and they just see people who need help. Whereas other countries, maybe like Poland or something, who don't have a population of like Muslim people, it's then a culture clash, and then it's a big deal. But that's a whole other topic. But anyway, he was basically saying, it's these people's fault who are literally the victims in this situation, fleeing wars, their fault that Europe is becoming a shithole, as he said. And I was like,
Yeah.
how, like, this country itself was like founded on people basically getting out of a whole
Literally
other
is.
country. Like, so now what? We're the like, I didn't understand his logic, but I tried to talk to him and like get him to understand. You know, these people are actually doing it for a reason. And then he was like, "Yeah, I know," but and I'm just like, "That's why I don't
You
try."
can't, yeah.
Because you've got people have these ideals and these ideas in their head, and all they do when they argument and talk is dig their heels in.
We just call it flat Earth mentality, I think.
A little bit, yeah.
I think, education and awareness are the only way that you can sort of spread this message. So I just want to end this with a message to the listeners and the viewers. Next time we're tempted to wonder whether a victim is to blame for his or her own tragedy, let's commit to asking ourselves, how would we feel in that person's place, or how would someone else that we know or love feel in that person's place? Only by reaching out with empathy rather than closing off in blame can we truly bring about a just world.
True.
Yeah, well
so
said.
true
Fair
words.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good note to end on.
Cheers.
I'll see you next week, guys.
So I guess like another topic, we'll move on. On a semi-serious note as well, similar to Sean, is we're going to talk about something that's been pretty popular, especially over the last sort of 6 to 9 months in Australia, more so than probably ever before, and that is pill testing in Australia, specifically around obviously like the music festival and like electronic dance music sort of scene. So yeah, I don't know what you guys specifically know about sort of that whole agenda that's been pushing forward.
Pretty common in Europe.
So in Europe, so we are going to get to that.
Okay.
So Australia is definitely one of those countries that is sort of way off the mark in terms of where they should be in terms of like legislation and laws. But we'll just jump into what's obviously happened recently. So over like the summer period, so in Australia, so we'll go back as far as September through to the end of New Year's. That's kind of what. So there were 6 deaths in that period from ecstasy-related events over, and obviously that's probably one of the major like summer festival periods in Australia. So you've got all of your big ones across New Year's in every state, and obviously the biggest one being probably like Splendor in the Grass, something like that. So yeah, there were 6 days, and there was actually 2 deaths over 4 days over the New Year's Eve weekend. And that kind of really sort of brought to light the conversation around pill testing in Australia and why it hasn't been endorsed previously to the summer period, basically. It's something that I definitely believe should be prevalent. I go to music festivals, not to do pills, but just you obviously see a lot of people who are on certain things. And I think if you could create an environment where it is at least safe, or people could take something and at least know maybe what's in it, then we could at least minimize some of the harm being done.
Yeah, it makes sense to do pill testing because people are going to take pills regardless of, whether they're illegal or not. There's no point trying to stop people altogether because they're just going to find other ways to bring them in. So at least if you can safely test them, then you can take away the ones that are likely to do damage.
The counter argument is that you are responsible for what you take.
Absolutely. And
Are you victim blaming?
The government is.
The victim of the perpetrator, which is the pills?
No, the victim, if you're taking...
But they're not a victim because they're doing it. It's their choice to do it.
But it's your choice to tell that man to stop fighting someone.
All right, we're going to go.
yeah, we're going to go in circles.
Yeah. Is that... No, or is this completely left field?
Yeah, they're a
I see
victim,
where
but
you're
they're...
coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if people are responsible for the things they take, don't you think they have the right to know what they're taking, Luke?
For sure.
But the drug is illegal. And
It is.
I'm not saying,
It is.
And I'm not saying I agree with this argument. I'm just saying this is the counter argument.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think it is a valid argument because that's obviously the main point or main pushback, we'll say, in terms of Australian government as for why it's not being brought about.
Yeah.
So just a quick stat or two that I found quite interesting. So a 2010 study found that 11% of 20 to 29-year-olds had taken ecstasy or a form of MDMA in the last year. So I don't know, like...
Seems high.
11%. So, and then annual research same year showed that of 1,000 users, obviously, so it's just a small, 70% of those were taken at clubs or festivals or dance events. So a pretty high proportion being taken, obviously, the main place we would like to do pill testing.
I thought it would be closer to 90% at clubs and music festivals.
Yeah, where else
and
could you- in a
70%,
park or something?
30%.
Well, I guess if you were having house parties, that I assume
Well,
like
the
that's
house parties.
that is. Anywho, so a little bit of backstory. So pill testing first emerged in the 1990s, and obviously, like you said, Brady, it's most prevalent in Europe and obviously originated in the Netherlands. So some of the countries where pill testing is sort of readily available and most known for is Switzerland, France, Spain, Germany, and Austria. Which I was actually quite surprised that Germany and France were. Like Spain, I know they've got kind of strange decriminalized rules on drugs.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I
Just French, the French and German just love their Eurotrance festivals.
look, to be honest, I suppose they do. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess I always associate just beer with Germany, so I
Yeah,
don't
that's
really
true.
think about it.
Berlin's a party town.
It is, yeah. I guess home of, well, that's sort of.
Some crazy
Hamburg.
like,
Yeah, I
clubs
guess-
and shit like
Yeah.
that, like world famous. Yeah,
Hamburg is one of the big drug towns in the world.
Really?
Yeah, Hamburg.
Hamburg, alright.
Yeah, the Reeperbahn. It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
it's like there's like more drugs going through Hamburg than through Amsterdam or
yeah,
something.
isn't it? It's
Can
like
you,
it's
can you
like
say
the,
Reeperbahn in a German accent? Sorry.
I wouldn't even know how. Reeperbahn. I don't know.
Reeperbahnhof. If you say
Come
put
down.
off on the end of it.
Come down to the Reeperbahn.
There we go. That's what I was looking for.
Not bad. Yeah.
I mean, he's losing it.
Come down to the Reeperbahn. Sorry,
You
Brady.
get your heroin from the Reeperbahn,
I've heard it's like the red light district, but with clubs.
and it's dodgier. It's dodgier
I
than
find
the
that
Red
hard to believe.
It's dodgier, man. It's seriously the Reeperbahn was dodgy.
It's got like canals with sharks in it or something. Like,
With crocodiles and
Mate, it's called Reeperbahn. Like it's gonna come and get you. Like
Grim Reeperbahn.
It's so grim. It's so grim. Like there was rats in our hostel and stuff.
It's not called Rainbow
we,
Barn.
We stayed at the Reeperbahn, and like there was
Reeperbahn.
literally like crackheads just outside everywhere. Prostitutes everywhere. I was walking like arm in arm with my girlfriend at the time, and I had prostitutes like propositioning me
Yeah, well,
when
three's a
I was
party.
walking with my
Yeah.
girlfriend.
yeah, I mean, look at you.
Yeah, when in Hamburg.
and Zweisem.
It was the hamburgers do.
Ein, zwei, dreisem.
Drei.
Dreisem.
All right. Wow, we really hit Europe there, didn't we? Hey?
Yeah.
Alrighty. So
Shout out to Netherlands, by the way, for being
Yeah.
the first ones.
yeah, not surprising. They're pretty progressive in that.
They do heaps of crazy stuff. Like I'm pretty sure in Rotterdam, and you better be able to fact check me here. They have like some nightclubs. You have like microchips. People get microchips in their wrists, and they scan into nightclubs.
Wow.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I do know. I guess on this, I was going to bring it up in a bit, but like Netherlands being the first, is I know that I think it was about 3 or 4 years ago they did have a festival where every punter was allowed to actually bring in like 3 pills.
Oh, really?
They're actually allowed to bring it in like you basically there's your ticket, there's my 3 pills, and that was like just a regulated kind of dance festival. At least then they could put like I think their sort of view was you could put a limit on what people were taking or how much.
I guess the counter argument to that would be then you're kind of saying it's okay.
It is.
Yeah.
That's what they're
I mean,
they got pretty loose laws.
yeah.
You could sell all 3 as well and make a bit of profit. Pay
I
for
guess
your
if
ticket.
everyone's got them though, then
Yeah.
you're not
Yeah.
making too
Supply
much
and
bank.
demand. Yeah.
Someone might want 4. You never know.
So one of the biggest pushbacks on pill testing in Australia is a woman who I really despise. 1, she's ugly to look at, and 2, she's got a shit attitude on everything, and 3, she's kind of a liar.
Can I guess who this is?
Yeah, go for it.
Is it Pauline Hanson?
Oh no, it's not.
That's the New South Wales Premier.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Ah.
It's. Do you know how to say her last name? It's Gladys Berejiklian. I think I'm butchering it, but you know
Gladys,
what? Fuck you,
though.
Gladys, if you're listening anyway.
That's of course a woman with those opinions is called Gladys.
She looks kind of like a combination
Foot.
of like Bert and Ernie from.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, right. That's kind of what I think.
Yeah.
So she was quoted in saying, when this was all in the heat of the moment, sort of thing. This is a direct quote: "If there was a way we could ensure lives would be saved from pill testing, then we would consider it."
What?
So
I think there's enough facts to.
I don't think she gets what pill testing is.
Yeah.
But I think what she means by that is that like it like say you test your pill and it comes back and it's like there's some like dodgy stuff in this. They can still take it anyway.
yes, they can. But so
Yeah.
on that note, they obviously did a thing in. I have a statistic from Austria. So in Austria, obviously one of the places that there's pill testing.
Yeah.
They found that 50% of people who use pill testing services believe results influence drug taking. Now, of that, 2/3 decided not to consume based on the results.
Yeah. That
That would
seems-
hugely affect me.
2/3. So look, obviously that's not everyone, like, but that's if you're playing the percentages, you know, if you're going to a festival and there's a good portion of people who are taking them and 2/3 of them then go, oof, well, I might not because that's got, you know,
Yeah.
battery acid in it, then I think that's a really, really good push for harm minimization or
Yeah.
at least harm reduction.
Because I think a lot of people would be just like casual users or first time users, like per se. So, but someone like myself, I've never taken a pill before, but like I imagine there would be a lot of people like me at these festivals, and they'd go get their pills tested because they're a bit unsure. They've never done it before. Hang on a sec, these are harmful. Yeah, let's get rid of them. Like I've never used them before. I don't need to start now with a bad
This
pill.
is
Like,
actually ibuprofen, so you pay 25 euros for it.
for a Panadol. Yeah, mate, that Nurofen high.
Now, someone who obviously was opposed to Gladys, thank Christ, and obviously has like a pretty important role in politics was the Federal Police Commissioner, Mick Palmer. Now, he says...
Who's probably dealt firsthand with people.
on like a massive scale. So he says it's not a silver bullet, but it's a proven way to prevent tragedy, which I think is a really good way of summing it up.
Definitely.
Because like I said, it's not the be all and end all of saving everyone's lives. But I think if you can sort of save or minimize the risk of as many as you can, then it's a step in the right direction.
And his opinion would be so much more valid than hers. Why are we not like pumping his voice out a bit more?
Fucking politicians.
Because she's got probably
Yeah.
more of a podium to stand on, and
Yeah.
and votes count in this
She's going for
country.
votes.
But
Yeah.
where is she located? Because
So she's New South Wales.
rural.
No, she's New South Wales Premier. So
wow.
she's got a pretty big gig, and
Jeez.
New South Wales. Well, obviously, they have a lot of festivals over that part of the world.
And they're all suffering.
Yeah. Where do you start with all the regulations in New South Wales, though? They're a bit
Lockout laws.
lockout laws. Yeah.
And that's killed like Sydney. I know we've talked about that on here before, but like when I went to Sydney for the first time last year, and I was excited, but I knew that the lockout laws were a thing, and we got to the city, like the CBD, at like 11 o'clock one night. My partner, just to get something to eat or have like a quiet drink somewhere. It was a ghost town.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was crazy.
Where's everyone going?
Well, they go out to the sections that aren't in lockout laws. So you go out to like Newtown, which is like 20 or half an hour from like the CBD.
Yeah.
But it was quiet as. We
We're taking a hit.
walked through the version of like Sydney's version of the Hay Street Mall, and it was no one. Like it was absolutely no one
Their
there.
economy is probably taking like a bit of a hit too.
Some of the biggest hotspots in Sydney have closed down. Like they've closed their doors because they have no business.
Yeah.
Damn.
So yeah, obviously that's it's I guess semi-related because of the nightlife and that version. But yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think about like pill testing in Australia?
Yeah. Well, I don't think we actually explained what pill testing was, to be honest.
Well, pill testing is basically going. It's places at festivals or dance events where you can go without scrutiny or without fear of arrest, testing whatever drugs you were thinking of taking and then finding out if they were harmful or not.
Yeah. So, because a lot of people wouldn't know what that is, but I think there's nothing but positives from that. I think bring it in. If you want to minimize harm, minimize deaths, and people can still have fun, like.
I would love, I don't know off the top of my head, this may be something from the stat man. I would love to know the stats in ecstasy or whatever related deaths in the Netherlands post and pre bringing that law in.
Yeah, or in Europe in general.
So just, how do you Google that sentence? Let's give him a minute there.
Such a nervous
Hit
fucking noise.
us
then.
back up with that one.
I think as long as they're not intending to sell, so they don't have enough on them that they're willing to like sell it, I think pill testing is fine. But if someone comes up to the pill testing tent with like,
Baggy, like
like a massive,
How much time do you
3
have?
kilos.
bin bag.
I need to test all of these.
Can I get a booth to myself? I'm selling out here today.
That's not cool. That shouldn't happen. But if it prevents people from dying, then it would be a good thing to implement.
All I think about in situations like this is like stories of those like 17, 18-year-olds going to their first festival. They get, in Australia especially, and they get towards the front of the line where there's normally police patrolling.
Yeah, or
And then
sniffer
they take
A
dogs.
sniffer dog, and they just they get scared and they just take everything that they've got beforehand and overdose and die. And like, is that really worth the hassle? Is it
Especially
worth-
in summer, like 40-degree heat.
Yeah.
Like
Already
Dehydration.
dehydrated.
Yeah.
Is it
Yeah.
worth keeping these laws the way they are and having 16, 17-year-olds or whatever die for the sake of it, just because otherwise we might be influencing people to take. You wouldn't be influencing, you're influencing safety. I don't understand the concept at all.
There should probably be mandatory that they buy, X amount of liters of water per however many milligrams of whatever drug they're taking. So, for example, you have like one pill, you must have 2 liters of water with you. They're forced to buy it before they leave the tent.
I guess then the opposition to this could say, well, then what's to stop us from just having the government regulate all drugs and sell all drugs so we know everything is safe?
The government's not selling drugs.
I know, but they could say we could do that because then everything that we sell we know is safe. Like, why would we not just do that then?
Probably a better thing to do.
Yeah, that makes some revenue off it.
Have I just solved the war on drugs?
Yeah. Solve the victim blaming as well.
Statman, what do you reckon?
So I don't have direct stats, but according to the Global Drugs Survey in 2016, most young people will now purchase drugs from alternative sources before festivals rather than from dealers at events, as these stationary labs that are in place in the Netherlands, and stationary labs around the country, allow them to test their drugs before events, which I think shows a byproduct that is a positive in that
Smarter purchasing.
well, you can do your purchase, do your test, which incentivizes dealers pre-event to sell you good products so you go back to them. So while not exactly ideal because you still have a black market of illegal drugs, you have your dealers are incentivized to give you things that work so that you will continue to buy from them.
Fantastic
Sort of
research.
making the best out of a bad situation.
Yeah.
Yes.
Excellent. Good
Yeah,
job.
thank you, T.
Good job.
On that, cool or not cool?
Yeah, let's
I was going to say pill testing cool or not cool, but I think it's a
It's a resounding.
You know, that's
resounding
cool, yeah.
cool as fuck. I'm going to keep it topical. The first one right here is something that came out today. It's not the healing crystal, Sean, but it's close.
I think it's changed color a little bit. I don't know.
Has it changed to the color of the photo of the black hole?
Ah, cool. That was so cool. I reckon that's so cool. That's cool. John?
That is insanely cool. One of the biggest scientific events in history.
Yeah, really cool. Also, whatever Sean did with his black holes on the weekend, I mean, that might be cool as well.
Equally cool. I'm going to say it's amazingly cool, but people looked at the close-up version. I posted one in a group chat that we have today, which was a little bit more zoomed out, and that was even cooler.
Yeah, that was way cooler.
That was, I don't know why that's not the one circulating, but it looked insane.
People think big is better.
Can I just chime in here and say, as a physicist, very cool.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
hold on. Yeah.
It was damn cool. And people complaining that it was like blurry and that, I'm like,
Mate.
it's 55 million light years away or
away.
something.
Blaming the photographer?
Yeah, victim blaming the planet. Like, oh, fuck. Oh, not even planet, it's a black hole. All right, number 2, craft beer.
Cool. Sean.
No. I have a whole thing. Don't. Go.
Open Pandora's box.
I see him. Just put the camera. He's just like,
Visibly cringing.
yeah, cool because like it's just like beer, but different, like just different styles of beer. I really think that's cool. Different flavors. Sean, let's hear it.
Cool.
Hey, okay.
2 years ago, I would have given you a different answer, but I think like craft beer went through a phase where it was just trendy to be a craft beer.
Yeah.
Now there's a lot of effort on the
competition.
quality of beers now.
Yeah.
So you've got companies like Gage Roads, but they're so big now. They're not really a craft beer anymore. Like they're mainstream now. So you're seeing a lot of these excellent craft beers infiltrating the market. So I've changed my mind and I've gone for a cool.
Fantastic.
Yeah, cool. Shout out to Gage Roads.
Yes.
You'll be,
That's not the first shout out.
Sponsor.
To Roads on
yeah,
this podcast.
you'll be sponsoring 1, the podcast in the future, and 2, sponsoring my engagement party. So
Yes.
thank you, Gage. Yeah, very cool. We'll have a good. But you know what? It's not cool that craft beer gets a bad rap. I feel like it's. I think it's got like there's a bit of a streak to it where people are like, oh, craft beer, that's so hipster. Just if it's a good beer, who gives a fuck if it's craft or not?
Damn
See,
straight.
that would have been me a couple of years ago,
Me
same as
too,
Sean.
yeah.
But recently, in the last 2 years, I've had a variety of different craft beers, and I didn't even know they were craft beers until someone was I looked at it and read it, and it was like a craft beer. I thought it was just a beer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a fan, so I'm gonna say cool. Number 3, swimming.
Not cool. I'm really bad at swimming. Yeah, Don't like it. Just I don't have the body for it.
I'm bad at jazz tap. Doesn't mean I don't think it's cool.
Okay. Not cool.
Yeah, cool. Swimming's cool. Of course, swimming's cool.
How many times are you gonna say cool?
Stop,
Victim shaming.
mate. Please, you've upset me now. Brett.
Swimming's cool. I like swimming.
Wait, what's cooler, swimming in the ocean or swimming in a pool?
Swimming in a pool.
Ocean.
Or you know what? Swimming in an ocean and then heading home from the beach, heading to a mate's place, and then swimming in, just chilling
That's specific, but I
with a
know what you
frozen
mean.
Coke on the drive.
Ooshed.
You speak my language. Swimming in the ocean, I'm going to say, is really cool, especially in the morning. It's so refreshing.
Oh yeah, big time.
Oh God. Table tennis.
Cool. Very cool. Yeah. I like it. It's a good pastime. Very good pastime. Brady? Sean? Sorry.
See, my position on table tennis has changed. Like, I'm still going to give it a cool, but I'm just not into it like I used to be.
You're just not feeling
We've gone our own ways.
Yeah.
All right, so I love table tennis. Table tennis is very, very cool. I pretty much play every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah, so at work
Yeah.
we've got a table tennis table. Had it for maybe like 9 months now. We have a scoreboard going out the back, and it's games played and wins and losses,
Who's
or just
winning?
wins. I am on top of the leaderboard.
Ooh.
Played my 500th game yesterday.
Jeez.
500th game. Brought it up with a dub, obviously.
Yeah.
I fucking love table tennis. Man, I could go a game right now.
Just clear this table out. I'm going to say really cool. I loved it as a kid, and it's one of those things that was just like fun as a kid and fun as an adult. It's just, it's so fun. I just wish I had a table.
Yeah.
I've got a table here. Anyway, number 5. I hope you guys have seen this so that it makes sense. The Jumanji reboot.
Oh,
The one with The Rock.
yeah. All right.
What, the one that came out like a couple of years ago?
Yeah.
Jack Black and
No.
No, it came,
Yeah, Jack
Came out
Black.
last year.
Came out last year.
Oh, it came out last year?
Yeah.
Cool.
Sold me on that.
I mean, yeah, the original was pretty good.
Yeah.
original's classic.
I just haven't seen the reboot. But
okay, yeah.
I'll assume it's cool.
Oh, how about for just you then, Jumanji?
Yeah, cool. Yeah, cool movie.
I too have not seen the reboot.
So Jumanji.
Wait, have you seen the original?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The original was cool. Yeah, of course.
All right, original cool. The reboot, very cool. I thought it was really good. Plus, like the redhead girl is hella cute, so like got a bit of a crush
Who
on her.
was that?
Don't know her name, but
It's cute. Yeah.
yeah, cute
Cutie
and cool.
McCutie.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan of reboots, but I was surprisingly
it was good. It was
entertained.
funny,
Yeah.
man.
I think something about The Rock, he's charismatic.
Cool. The Rock, cool.
And Jack Black is just a funny guy.
Yeah.
It was a good casting. Whoever was in charge of that, well done.
Yeah, cool.
All right. I think that's another week in the bag.
That's it, man.
Also cool. Spanish accents, cool. We'll see you next week. We'll hear you next week. You'll hear us next week. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.